Blessed to have the divine association of His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami Maharaj. Let's all welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, as I informed before, for the new devotees who came just late, please keep your mobile phones on silent. कृपया अपने मोबाइल फोन को अभी साइलेंट कर दीजिए. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಫೋನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯಾರಾದಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. If there are any kids, request Maharaj is to take them to the back. किसी के पास बच्चे लोग हैं तो पीछे बैठ जाइए. क्लास के टाइम पे शोर होगा तो बहुत दिक्कत हो जाएगा. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But this verse gives more hope to us. When Krishna says, Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Putamabhavamadakaha, many persons, by knowledge and penance, Srila Prabhupada translates tapasa as by penance, by austerities, they became purified and attained transcendental love of Krishna. Although, if we think about it, it may be daunting still. One has to become free of attachment, fear and anger. And Srila Prabhupada explains that in some detail. Anyway, the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami, in which this gradual, the particular word is used, gradual attainment of prema is described. Two verses. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya Sadhu Sangha Atha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivritis Tato Nishta Ruchis Tata Atha Saktis Tato Bhava Tato prema bhudanchati sadhakhanam ayam prema prado bhave bhavet kramaha. Kramaha means step, so step by step. Srila Prabhupada's translation of these two verses given here. In the beginning, one must have a preliminary desire for self-realization. This will bring one to the stage of trying to associate with persons who are spiritually elevated. In the next stage, one becomes initiated by an elevated spiritual master. And under his instruction, the neophyte devotee begins the process of devotional service. I want to use Srimad Bhagavatam as a book stand. By execution of devotional service under the guidance of the spiritual master, one becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization, and acquires a taste for hearing about the absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. This taste leads one further forward to attachment for Krishna consciousness, which is matured in bhava, or the preliminary stage of transcendental love of God. Real love for God is called prema, the highest perfectional stage of life. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. This is what we are individually aiming at. Krishna Vishaya Prema Param Purushartha Jar Age Chuna Tula Chari Purushartha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when speaking to the Mayavadis in Benares, said that Prem, centered on Krishna, is not Desh Prem or Patni Prem or any such thing. It's specifically centered on Krishna. Is the topmost goal of life, in comparison with which the goals of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation are all insignificant. So this is the goal to be aimed at. Just quoted this Manushanam Sahasreshu. Very few people may take to that. But if one is fortunate, as most of you all here are, having taken to the process of Krishna consciousness, then one can start to go forward in Krishna consciousness. Elsewhere, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated it a little differently. Kono bhage karo shongsa khoyanmukh hoy sadhu songe tobe Krishna ratir upajar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that by some good fortune, if someone starts to become disgusted with material life, gives up hope of happiness in this material world, then if he gets good association, then he can begin to awaken his loving feelings for Krishna. Here we have Shraddha as the first stage, faith. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has emphasized the two kinds of faith. And in Bhagavad Gita we find there are three kinds of faith. So we're looking at different perspectives. These are three kinds of material faith. Trividha Bhakti Shraddha Dehinam Sasvabhavaja. The three kinds of faith in material consciousness, very broad categories, are those in Sattva-gun, Rajo-gun, and Tamo-gun. But here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about transcendental faith. So, faith in Krishna, there are two kinds, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. One is ordinary, worldly, sentimental, and the other is Shastriya Shraddha. based on descriptions of Krishna in Shastra. Here Srila Prabhupada mentions it's elsewhere he mentions. In the beginning there is faith in the scriptures describing bhakti. Faith in Krishna. There may be preliminary faith in Krishna. Some kind of idea that we should worship Krishna. For that to arise, there has to be clear knowledge of Krishna. Otherwise, we may have faith in Krishna in a manner which will not help us to advance in Krishna consciousness. For instance, there's some theory which I heard secondhand from a communist in Bengal that yes, we like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was open to all classes of people. So he was a forerunner of communism. This is not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as given by our acharyas. It's not a transcendental conception of him. Or we may think that, well, Krishna is symbolic of the fight of good over evil, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. There are so many theories about Krishna. But somehow or other, if one can get faith which is, even in the beginning stage, the kind of faith that is conducive for development toward praying, that is a great good fortune. Karo bhagya. Again we have Brahmanda Brahmate. Karo bhagyavanji. Great fortune, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Ratabi. Then if one is very fortunate by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, one has the seed of Bhakti implanted in the heart. What is that seed? That seed is faith, Shastriya faith, in the principle of pure devotion to Krishna. Anyabhilashita shinyam jnanakama jnanapratam anukulyena krishna anushilanam bhakti rutama. Faith in the process of Krishna consciousness leading to pure devotion and beginning with pure devotion. Pure devotion in the completely perfect state is when one is free from all external influences, and one is situated in one's constitutional position of love of Krishna. In the beginning one should have faith in that I have to be free from everything which is extraneous to pure love of Krishna. And we have to cultivate Krishna consciousness in such a way that this arises. So the beginning faith may be very shallow. Again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that Shraddhavanjan hoy bhakti alikari uttam ladham kanishta shraddha anusar. One is eligible for devotional service by faith. And one is classified as a topmost, middle level, or neophyte devotee, according to their level of faith. Jaha komal shraddha shekarishta krame krame teho bhakta hoibe uttam. One whose faith is very soft is called a kanishta adhikari. Kanishta means in the lowest stage. But gradually, he can come to the highest stage. And this word komal, soft, that is very much wanted. The heart has to be soft to love Krishna, but the faith should not be soft. That means it can be easily misled. One can be influenced by all kinds of wrong ideas. But in the beginning there should be some basic faith. I was told yesterday that there's a new center of ISKCON somewhere here in Bengaluru, and there's a sign. It's a sign pointing ISKCON with an arrow. And the center is a little bit inside from the main road, but so many people come just seeing the sign ISKCON. That means they have some basic faith. They may not know what do people think of ISKCON. They think ISKCON is build temples and feed the poor. That's ISKCON. And they, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But they don't know much about what it's all about. But somehow or other they have some kind of faith that something good here. It may be that they're feeling a little bit Shangsha Kshayan Mukh, feeling stressed, distressed. They want to become more religious. No. If there was a sign pointing to Sadhguru or what's that guy with the beard, the art of life, or whatever. So the guy with the beard, there are so many. And so many. Oh yeah, Kirtan Mela, right? You have to have a beard. Not allowed without a beard. So they may go there also. If there's a sign pointing. They're just looking for something religious or spiritual, and by good luck, we hope they come to ISKCON. So there's some initial faith, but they don't really know very much. But even that initial faith is also generated by sadhus. Because of Srila Prabhupada having founded ISKCON, and his followers hadn't helped him to spread it all over the world, then there wouldn't be an ISKCON to go to. And there wouldn't be devotees to speak on Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, according to the pure devotional line, and to guide people in devotional service. It wouldn't be there. So some initial faith is also generated by association with devotees. But when it becomes that they actually become somewhat serious, then they start to associate with devotees. They become somewhat serious means they're prepared to listen to what these sadhus say. Because association with devotees means primarily by hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna, and serving Krishna. And there may be various ways that various people are engaged. Some people are not very interested in hearing and chanting about Krishna, but they think, let me give some donation. We often find rich people, they like to give a donation, but they don't like to come and hear. They might come sometimes for darshan, but they don't like to come and hear and associate with devotees. Maybe if there was a sadhu sangha made for them of people of their own economic status, they might come, because they might think it's below my dignity to mix with all these people who are on the level of my employees. Generally, moneyed people are materialistic, very concerned with prestige and what others are thinking of them. But if one can associate with devotees and hear from them, that is a great boon. What have I got written? I made some notes, yeah. Then Sadhu Sangha, one associates with devotees. And devotees will try to engage others, newcomers, in activities of devotional service. The next stage, bhajana kriya, means engagement in devotional service very seriously. And this is described by Srila Rupa Goswami. He's given these verses summarizing the process. And he says, Atah Gurvashrayam Krishna Dikshana Shikshana Dikshana. So the first thing is to take, when one becomes very serious, then one takes shelter of a guru. That means that now I'm very serious to learn. Now I'm not just coming with some beginning faith or interest. Krishna describes that again in Gita. Chatur vidha bhajante manjana sukritino arjuna artha jignasur artharthi jnani bharatasha. Krishna says 4 kinds of people may begin to worship me: those who are distressed, those who desire wealth, those who are inquisitive, and those who are in knowledge of me. So taking initiation means that however one came in the beginning, whether out of distress or out of just some initial interest or curiosity or desiring wealth, one has come to the platform of at least initial knowledge that I've heard from the gurus and sadhus that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am His eternal servant. I am in this material world suffering birth after birth. Now I should take up the process Sharanagati, the process of taking shelter of Krishna. By which I can become purified and become Krishna conscious and reawaken my dormant love of Krishna. So one should know this at the time of initiation and take shelter of Krishna by the process of devotional service. And bhajana kriya, there are so many activities that one has to undertake in devotional service. Remember, we're discussing the path to prema, and it's a gradual process. Prema abhyudam sadh, what is that? Bhavet kramaha. It's gradually, and the bhajana kriya stage, the activities of devotional service, beginning in neophyte stage, gradually becoming purified. This we have to engage in. Sometimes we may think, it's a Hindu folklore, you could say, which we may carry into our supposed practice of Krishna consciousness. Prema, well, it's just a matter of mercy, that's all. You just get some mercy and then you get prema. That's true, but the mercy is that we're given the process. We have to do our own work. It's not that, it's atah, gurvashraya, the beginning of the process is taking shelter of a guru, but then in Krishna diksha and shiksha, then serving the guru, and then there are so many activities of devotional service which we have to engage in. Usually when a devotee passes away, you say, oh, he's gone to Krishna. Well, in one sense that's true for everyone. When they die, they go to Krishna, because we're all within Krishna. But it's not necessarily that because someone was initiated, that they went back to Godhead. One has to actually become purified. One has to become free of all anarthas. By the process of engaging in devotional service, one becomes free of anarthas, unwanted things, those which are extraneous to pure devotional service. So one actually has to engage in it, and then it's a lot of activity. Bhajana kriya, kriya means activity. There's a lot of activity. Srila Prabhupada gave for his disciples early rising, morning program, stretching over, the morning program stretching over at least 4 hours, then again evening program. That's supposed to be daily. There's a lot of work to do. This center has been established with all apartments around it for devotees to be close to the temple and avail of the facility of hearing and chanting about Krishna and serving. Don't mind me saying so, but just in the last couple of days it seems that not many of if you think that all these apartments are full, then it seems only a small percentage attend the daily programs. And it may be, well, I'm busy, this, that, and the other. But the facility is there. And if we don't do that, then we don't get the effect. We have to do our work also. Again, this idea, you just get some mercy. Srila Prabhupada rubbished that idea. You just get some mercy and then you get instant perfection. He gave the example of one bogus guru and one bogus disciple. And the bogus guru touches the disciple. Shaktipat, there's some idea he was there. That's in Tantra. And then both, and with the electric shock feeling, both the guru and the disciple pass out. And then when the disciple especially, not used, he's got this sudden charge of spiritual energy, and then he passes out. Then he comes to his senses after some time, and he sees the guru is crying. He asks, why are you crying? He said, because I gave all my spiritual energy to you. And completely bogus. So, yeah, we're laughing, and it is laughable, but it's unfortunate that people are misled by such ideas, and they may carry them into devotional service and think that, well, somehow I'm initiated and my guru is very merciful. Yeah, guru is very merciful means he gives you the instruction by which you can live your life. We have to do our work also. So bhajana kriya leads to, or an immediate effect, is an artha liberty. The ultimate goal of bhajana kriya is not simply becoming free from bad impressions in the heart and tendencies which entrap us in material life. The ultimate aim is love of Krishna, but that won't happen, that won't arise, that love of Krishna which is in the heart will not be uncovered, will not manifest as long as the dirty things in the heart remain. Srila Rupa Goswami has stated, what is that? Karma Pishache Hridi Bhartate, how does that verse begin? Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Javat Yavat in Sanskrit. Pishache Hridi Bhartate Tavat Bhakti Sukhasya Katham Abhyudayo Bhavet. He states it as a rhetorical question. As long as the witch-like desires for, witch means pishachi, the witch-like desires for material enjoyment or liberation or yogic perfection, as long as these desires remain within the heart, how can the happiness of devotional service arise within the heart. This bhajana kriya and the nartha nivritti, it may take some time. It may be very quick. Actually, it should be very quick because we don't have much time in Kali Yuga, do we? Our lives are not very long. We may think, well, I've been chanting Hare Krishna for 10 years and still have so many bad things in my heart. It may be. You can consider that yogis, they may meditate for thousands of years and still have bad things in their heart. So, we shouldn't become discouraged. It may be also that we're going on in devotional service and we may seem to be doing quite well and we're not disturbed, we're happy in devotional service. And it may be that suddenly, seemingly from nowhere, we're hit by material desires. So many strong material desires, or doubts, or whatever. So these processes, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, it's not that we start off with Shraddha, then we come to Sadhu Sangha and we leave behind Shraddha. We build on that. The Shraddha remains throughout the process. And that has to be built on, developed. We have to remain in the association of devotees. It's not that now I've practiced, I don't need to associate with devotees anymore. Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita we find the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this regard. Krishna Bhakti Janma Mol Hai Sadhu Sangha, Krishna Bhakti Janme Tabe Bhaktir Mukhya Anga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, in the beginning of devotional service, the cause of devotional service, the root cause of devotional service arising is association with devotees, but even when one has come to the stage of devotion, pure devotion, it's still necessary to associate with devotees. So this has to be there throughout. But then again we have to think, what kind of devotees are we going to associate with? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see after his disappearance, or even in his own presence, there were so many strange ideas and wrong ideas floating around in his name. So Sadhu Sangha means those who can help us advance on the path toward prema. And that means those who have accepted the principle of Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Kamadhyana Vitamanukulena Krishna Nushilanam Bhakti Ruttama. Those who have accepted the principle of pure devotional service. Now my aim of life is to serve Krishna, no extraneous desire. And for that purpose, accept the process of Sharanagati, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Varjanam, Rakshishititi Vishvaso Gotritre Varanam Tata, Atma Nikshepa Karpanye Sharavidha Sharanagati. To accept the principles of only doing that which is conducive for advancement in devotional service, and rejecting whatever is going to be pratiku, that which is going to impede my advancement in devotional service, and to accept that Krishna is my protector and maintainer, and with that faith to throw ourselves to Krishna, throw ourselves at Krishna, fully surrender to Krishna, give ourselves to Krishna. Dikha kale bhakta kare artha shamarta. Initiation really means to surrender ourselves to Krishna. And all this should be done, karpanya, dainya bhav, with a spirit of utter humility. So a devotee accepts this process and goes on with bhajana kriya. Rupa Goswami gives the process of devotional service in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I mentioned that the first, there are 64 main points which I mentioned. I mentioned 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Ata Gurvashraya. First one takes shelter of a guru. Then Krishna Dikshanu Shikshanam, take initiation and instruction from a guru. Vishram Venu Guru Seva, and with affection serving the guru. And then there are various rules given. There's Vidhi and Nished, that which should be done, that which should not be done. This is Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Varjana. We should accept those things which are to be done, such as we should regularly recite the Srimad Bhagavatam. We should regularly take darshan of the deity in the temple. And there are do nots. Do not enter the temple in a carriage. That may be overlooked for those in wheelchairs, but generally one should walk into the temple. There are so many rules. One should not take food which is not offered to the deity. So in this bhajana kriya, the whole process of devotional service, in the beginning we may be very unsteady, but then anukulyasya sankalpa, we take a vow to do that which is conducive for our advancement. And it may not be very easy to follow, and as we're probably all aware, the mind can be very rebellious. We're trying to bring our mind to the lotus feet of Krishna. Manmana bhavamad bhakta, Krishna says. Vajahure mana Srinanda Nandana. There are so many statements like this. Maharaj, Ambarish, Savai mana Krishna, Padara Vindayo. So first of all, the idea, I have to bring my mind to Krishna. But Maya will try to pull our mind away. And it can be a struggle. It is a struggle, but this vow to do whatever is favorable in Krishna's service and to reject that which is unfavorable, this will help us. If we are steady in our activities, that okay, I have to get up, I have to go to Mangalam, I have to chant 16 rounds, I have to do all. If we make that vow, that will help to control the mind. If we don't do that, then we'll remain always unsteady. Or shall I go to Mangalati today or not? No. And the next day, yeah, today I feel like it. But it's not a question of do I feel like it or not feel like it. We have taken the vow to do it. And this will help very much to make the mind steady. Otherwise the mind is always oscillating. But if we make our vow, I have to do this. I have to accept only food which is offered to Krishna, and only food which is offerable to Krishna. You can stick any damn thing you like in front of Krishna and blubber some mantras, but that doesn't mean that Krishna's obliged to accept it. We should know what Krishna wants and offer that to him, and then accept the remnants. So all these are very helpful. That's why our acharyas have very kindly given this. I'm just giving that as an example, but I'll elaborate a little bit on that, because I see it's a disease, a cancer throughout the modern Vaishnava world, that people think, well, is it vegetarian? Look on the packet. I'm not sure about, probably, okay. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warns, Bishayer Anna Kaile Dushta Hoiman, Malin Hoiman, Man Malin Malin Nahe Krishna Smaran. If Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if we eat food of materialistic people, that will contaminate the mind, and then we can't think of Krishna. So we have to make a vow. Sometimes we may have to go hungry. Sometimes we may not get the kind of food that we like. But it's very helpful for controlling the mind. Otherwise, every time you go past an ice cream shop, the mind becomes agitated. The tongue becomes salivorous, starts salivating. And we say, I'll walk in and I'll silently offer everything in the shop to Krishna. So everyone gets benefit. But that's not the process. Oh, time for me to drink water. So we have to do that. We have to accept some rules in our lives, understanding that if I follow this, this will help me. If I don't follow, then we can be in the position, Bahujanma kare jadi shravan kirtan tabutanapai Krishna pade prematam. We may be going on with devotional service, but we don't make it. That's why I say that it's not that everyone who dies who is chanting Hare Krishna goes back to Godhead. That's not the conclusion of Chaitanya Charitamrita. We could go on many lives chanting Hare Krishna and not go to Krishna. But there is a process by which we can go up. So we'll be unsteady. We can expect the mind will flicker, but if we're steady in our practices, that will help to make the mind steady. Otherwise, the mind will never be controlled. We'll never make proper progress. Some devotees who are influenced by sahajya ideas, they like to talk of prema and they think that all these rules are, but they're given by our acharyas to help us to come to that stage, and to make fun of the rules or think they're unimportant is in itself offensive to Krishna and the acharyas who have given them. They've given them so that we can develop to the stage of prema. It's not by imagination that one can come to that level. One have to do some work. If we honestly look in our hearts, there's a lot of work to do. It's not that, well, yeah, I'll be in. Now we're going to have praying in kirtan, and then afterwards, and Sunday afternoon is the time for praying, and then Monday morning is the time for something else. But that's not praying, because praying doesn't stop. In the process of bhajana kriya, we may be initially very enthusiastic, but it dies down because it's not on a very strong platform. That's why we should see someone's coming forward for initiation. Don't push them very quickly. Let's see if they have a little dedication and not just, yes, I want to do it. You have to see, are they actually following the vows? Are they going to be able to follow it? It's a risk always when we give initiation. They say, I'm going to follow these vows throughout my life. But we see many fall away. But are they serious to stick to that process? There are many obstacles on the way. Obstacles in advancement in devotional service can come from material attachment, may come from unfortunate circumstances. It may be, for instance, someone is arrested and put in prison with bad association. It may be that happened to some of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. After they'd come to his lotus feet, they were arrested for some crime they'd committed before. And they had to go to prison with not conducive association. Some devotees in prison, they preach in prison. But in general, it's not very conducive association. You won't get proper prasad. So it may be, by circumstances, that it becomes very difficult to practice. But there are so many obstacles which we will face on the way. Obstacles to our advancement may come by practicing bhakti. How is that? Because when we practice bhakti, people may start to notice, oh, very good devotee. And we hear, oh, good. They're praising me. And the principle of humility is compromised, and then we may start to do the right things for the wrong reason. We may say, well, this devotee is very good, always chants 16 rounds very carefully, and then we're chanting and thinking, oh, are others watching? Are they noticing how I'm chanting my rounds carefully? Or whatever. Or it may be that one gets some position, one is given the role of guiding others, or some administrative position, and we may think that, oh, you see, now I'm being recognized. Or we may become envious of those who have position. Why don't I have position? Or we may think that the goal of life, Maya is very tricky. We may think that I'll practice and I'll get some position within devotional society. That's not our aim. It's not a career. This concept may come from material life, that you're noticed, how much money you're earning, what position you have, how much you're recognized, how much people honor you. These facilities may arise from one's advancement in devotional service. Or they may arise not from advancement, but from a misconception of what devotional service is about. From the beginning, one might have the idea that my aim here in devotional service is to make myself noticed and get a position. So in so many ways, there are so many ways in which the progress from initial faith to praying pure love of Krishna can get sidelined or never really properly starts. Apart from all these subtle contaminations, very gross contaminations, struggling with the senses. It may be that someone who's practiced Krishna consciousness for some time starts to think that, well, now I'm safe. Now I don't need to be so careful. And then they start associating with, or they think it's all right for me to associate men and women. They may think it's all right. You say, well, we're doing it for bhakti. This is a common thing, I've seen. We're doing it for the sake of devotional service. We're associating. And then that in itself is the beginning of fall down. Because Maya is there. That's why there are rules, varnashram rules, restricting association between men and women. But in the name of bhakti, we may mix up in a wrong way men and women. And it's all devotion, Prabhu, but be careful. Now, be careful means don't do it. It's not just for brahmacharis and sannyasis, it's for grihastas also. Sorry to say, but you're probably all aware that This happens in devotional society also. That one man, married man, becomes attracted to someone else's wife, and then there's 2 divorces and 1 more marriage. Not good. Not good at all. So we should be very careful about this. Don't trust the rascal mind. Don't think it's a very common cause of fall down is estimating ourselves to be more advanced than we actually are, and underestimating the power of Maya. Srila Prabhupada himself, sannyasi, world acharya, over 80 years old, wouldn't let his elder sister, who was also 70 plus, to be alone with him. You might think, wow, sister, he's old, she's old, but he set the example. He wouldn't allow it. Actually, in the early days when he was in the West, he did. He had a woman's secretary and servant, but later, as the movement started to expand, and he saw that devotees were, many of those he initiated didn't remain on the path of devotion, and fall down due to illicit sex was quite common. And then Srila Prabhupada, he started to speak about and implement Varnashram Dharma more, including separation of the sexes. Some devotees say, you see, well, Prabhupada was very liberal in the beginning and allowed women to do this and that, but later these nasty sannyasis stopped it. That's one possible interpretation, but Srila Prabhupada himself became more strict in restricting association between men and women. And so these are things we should emphasize. We're talking about praying, but in the meantime we're attracted to eat some food not cooked by devotees, or we're attracted to a woman who attracted to your own wife, that's one thing, but if you're not married or you're not married to her, then it's very, very dangerous. I mean, Maya can come in the form of devotion. A woman becomes attracted to a man who gives good class, it may even be a brahmachari, gives good classes, preaches well, does good stuff. The man may be oh, she's such a nice devotee. And then mundane attachment arises. These things happen. It's not theoretical, so we should discuss these things so that we can be very careful and actually have anartha nivriti, cessation of those mental impressions in our minds which hinder our advancement, and unwanted practices. We can get rid of the unwanted practices by strictly following the process of devotional service, which is why the rules and regulations are given. But the unwanted things in the mind, that is going to attract us all the way up to prema. Even in the level of bhav, Jara Bharat, Bharat Maharaj, he fell down. So as long as there is, as long as we're in the material world, we're in a dangerous position. Even we want in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Mayavad is so insidious that even the mind of a Mahabhagavat, topmost devotee, can be shaken by that. That's very dire warning. There are so many anarthas. Anarthas arise from sinful activities. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warns about the creepers the weeds which obstruct the healthy growth of the bhaktilata, the creeper of devotional service. First is nishidacha, forbidden behavior. There are rules you have to follow. Nishidacha, first of all, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and there are so many others. If we start to engage in that, and then there may come kutinati, kutniti, deceitfulness, diplomacy. We're doing something which we shouldn't do, but we say, well, it's all transcendental, Prabhu. We're cheating ourselves and cheating our others in the name of devotional advancement. Jive hingshan, stopping the preaching of devotional service, or just cruelty to others, misbehaving with others. And these are more gross, and then there's labha puja patishta vijata upashakakon. There are many, many ways in which Maya can attack us. The desire for wealth, the desire for position, the desire to be honored. So anarthas, those the factors which obstruct our devotional advancement, they can arise from sinful works. We have impressions in our minds of sinful activities we've engaged in this life, or maybe even in previous lives. It may be that in this life, we're born in a devotee family. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're a pure devotee. It's more likely that we were practicing in a previous life and didn't make it. That means we still have some work to do. There may be impressions from sinful desires may arise in a person even who's lived a very pure life. The example is there of a Jamil. He had no idea, no inclination, no apparent inclination towards sinful life. But just when he came in contact, just without trying for it, just by bad luck you could say, or the influence of time, that the sinful inclination became aroused very strongly in his heart. That means there must have been there previously. And anarthas can arise from pious works also. That we desire the fruits of pious works. We desire a comfortable situation. We may think I'm entitled to a comfortable situation. I've done so much devotional service, therefore I deserve to have all kinds of facilities and comforts. Anarthas may arise from offenses to devotees. It may be that someone has practiced devotional service very seriously, but then somehow or other they become offensive to devotees, and then anarthas arising from devotion, which I mentioned just in brief. And then arises within the heart ignorance, false ego, attachment, hatred, entanglement in bodily enjoyment. That's if we start to do sinful activities. From a pious, if we've had a previous piety, then we may be, what do we get? Shuchinam Srimatam Ge He Yoga Brashto Vijayate. One may be born in a wealthy family, and one is attached to comfortable living and the prestige which comes from that. Anarthas that arise from offenses will result in lack of taste for performing devotional service. Criticism lead to more offenses. and then the byproducts of bhakti. Profit, money, fame, adoration. If one sticks to the path of devotional service, always being very careful, taking guidance from devotees, then gradually all these can be overcome and we can come to the platform of nishtha, steadiness in devotional service. We have to go beyond laziness, misconceptions about Krishna and the process of devotional service. Being distracted by so many things can be very difficult. We hear now my family has so many problems. We may hear that, there's so many attacks on Hinduism. What are we going to do? I may become distracted into something which is not central to devotional service. Or it may be that we're even in a very suitable, we think I have to arrange my life in such a way that I have to change my situation, do this and do that. And we think if I get everything right, then I can do bhakti properly. But then we find out that even if we change our situation, that we have our own rascal mind to contend with. So all these anarthas, we have to old bad habits. At least we should become steady in our practice. Stick to that. That will be appreciated by Krishna if we remain steady. Of course, even if we do follow all the rules and regulations of devotional service, it's not guaranteed that we're going to make devotional advancement. But the rules and regulations are given to help us in devotional service. But ultimately, as Srila Prabhupada states in his introduction to the Nectar of Instruction, that advancement in devotional service depends on the attitude of the performer. So steadiness, at least there should be steadiness in practice, and then we'll have a taste for it. Gradually that arises. Srila Prabhupada gave the example that in the beginning one may go to Mangalarti because, well, it's a rule I have to follow, but at some point it becomes, I want to do it. I really like it. I can't imagine not doing it. I should maybe give a little caveat here that when I return from Bangalore, I go to Vellore, I'm thinking of possibly skipping Mangalarti for 1 or 2 days because every morning, because it's very cold, I have to go outside and it's very cold, and then this cough which is going on for days and days and days, and I'm just coughing through. Anyway, there may be some valid reason. In the last month I missed Mangalarti, I think, for 2 or 3 days. I was sick. There may be some valid reasons, but we don't want to make a habit of that. And then we become attracted to hearing about Krishna, chanting about Krishna. Now, maybe there's someone who's very neophyte also has an attraction for hearing about Krishna. I mean, here there are katha, many devotees, not so many, they're expert in speaking katha, Bhagavad Katha, but generally in a way which is very pleasing to the audience. And not in a way that's going to help them to overcome their anarthas. It seems to be presumed that everyone's already on the platform of love of Krishna, and therefore will speak these pastimes of Krishna, and everyone loves to hear it, and they may like to hear it, but then we have to see what goes on in their life, and they may have to see what goes on in their mind when the katha is over. Then asakti, one becomes very attached to Krishna consciousness, to Krishna. Even in the stage of ruchi, there's a taste for performing the activities of devotional service. But in asakti, there's feeling for Krishna. And again, the feelings for Krishna, they must arise even in the beginning. Even in the very beginning of devotional service, there has to be some feeling for Krishna. Otherwise, we're like impersonalists. But that feeling becomes very thick and strong, so that we don't have to try to fix our mind on Krishna, but the mind is automatically drawn to Krishna. It's a natural tendency to be thinking of Krishna favorably, and then bhav, intense feelings for Krishna, when the heart is becoming very soft. Soft means free from envy. Material consciousness is characterized by envy, dislike of others, maybe hatred toward others, which may manifest in various ways, even in the supposed practice of Krishna consciousness. The envy of others. Why are these people coming here and preaching in my zone? It may be, there's a valid reason for saying that, but it may be some kind of envy, anger at others. But the heart should gradually become soft, and then very strong desire to attain Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said, but chanting the holy names, this should be what happens. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Hare Krishna Mahamantra Eto Shabhav Jai Jape Tar Krishna Upajai Bhav. He says that the nature of chanting Hare Krishna Mantra Eto Shabhav, the very nature of the holy names is that if we chant, then feelings for Krishna will arise. So when those feelings arise, and it's not just sometimes, by the mercy of Krishna, hopefully we all at times have some intense feeling for Krishna. But then when that becomes our consciousness all the time, then that is the stage of bhav, which matures into pure love of Krishna, prem, in which we're eligible to join Krishna in his pastimes. What's the key to that? Chanting Hare Krishna. There's a certain attitude in chanting Hare Krishna. Which gives rise to prem. Ki rupe loile nam preme rupa joy taha lakhon shuno shurup Ramai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Srupa Damodar Ramananda Rai, what is it? How should we chant the holy name? What is the feeling with which we should chant the holy name that gives a rise to prem? And what's the next verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Trinada Pisuniche Tarore Vasayishna Amanana Manadena Kirtane Sadahari. Easy to recite. We should recite it. But to really take it to our heart, that is the key. To really think ourselves very fallen and lowly, to be very tolerant, to know what to tolerate and what not to tolerate, That's part of being tolerant. Not desiring personal honor and ready to give honor to others. Then we can actually chant. And with this attitude, pure love of Krishna, we're on the path. We're on the path in which Krishna will fully reveal himself to us, and we can go back to Godhead and join Krishna's pastimes. Hare Krishna. We'll finish there. How are we doing time-wise? 12:51. So, what should I do now? Do you want to ask for questions or not? Two questions. All right. So, two questions. If anyone wants to put a question. All right. We have one hand tentatively going up here.
Thank you very much for the lecture. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita we find it said this is the Krishna Prem, that Krishna Prem is already in our heart, but in another place we find Guru Krishna Prasadana Bhakti Lata Pij. So do we get Krishna Prem and Guru and Krishna and it's already there? So how can we correlate?
Guru and Krishna give the seed of faith in the principle that I am an eternal servant of Krishna. I am meant to serve Krishna. What's the contradiction? Ami Siddha Krishna Das Ekatabu Mayar Nafa Hoya Chirodin Mule. Forgetting that I am an eternal servant of Krishna, I have for such a long time wandered around as a servant of mine. So yes, Krishna Prema is a natural situation, but we've forgotten that. So the seed of devotional service is to have faith in the fact that I'm a servant of Krishna, but now I am not properly situated. So there's no contradiction. Any other question?
Maharaj, yes. Hare Krishna Maharaj. What is the term
Wait,
fortunate?
please.
What does the term fortunate mean?
Well, that's already stated. Kano Bhagavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata, which one who is fortunate gets the seed of devotional service. Then this Kara Shamsha Koyan Mukhoi Kano Bhagye Karo Shamsha Koyan Mukhoi Sadhu Sange Tabe Krishna Vati Upajoy. Someone who's becoming indifferent to material life, if they, by good fortune, they come in contact with devotees and their feelings for Krishna love. So what does it mean? Well, that's the symptom of it, is sadhu sangha, and accepting that. Or you may be wondering, what does it mean? How do you... Well, that again, sadhu sangha, by association, by the mercy of devotees.
Is it related to previous life?
Is it related to a previous life? It may be, in this life or a previous life. Often, devotional service is a continuum from previous life. All right, so we have 3 questions. Huh? So we'll finish there, huh? Oh, you.
I'm here.
No. So you want to do this or leave it for now?
Hare Krishna. So we just heard from the lotus mouth of Maharaj how in an endeavor, in our daily endeavor to seriously practice devotional service, our mind poses a major roadblock or a major hindrance. And one short way to overcome this hindrance or to deal with this hindrance effectively is to hear lectures like this, the one we just heard right now from Maharaj. And we are providing this facility for all of you to constantly associate with Maharaj through Bhakti Vikasa Swami app. It's an app that has been made by devotees with more than 7,500 lectures of Maharaj, all the transcript of the lectures, his books. In the app, you can search across everything. You can do search in the audio, you can do search, text search or an audio search. And there are numerous lectures on different topics, like the recently completed Vishnu Sahasranam commentary. Maharaj's, it's an elaborate commentary on entire series of names in the Vishnu Sahasranam. So that is also available, and there are lectures on so many different topics. Hindi, English and Bengali are the main languages in which Maharaj is preaching. So please get this app, it's a free app. We'll give you the cards with the QR codes, and you can download the app. Next thing is that Maharaj has also been working on this documentary, God, Science and Atheism. It's a documentary where the seemingly intelligent arguments of the best of the atheists are explored, analyzed and systematically dismantled by Maharaj. So the first episode is coming out next Friday. The trailer is already out. We will also be distributing these cards with the information about God, Science and Atheism, the documentary series. So please get it and please share it. Many of you here must be engaged in preaching activities, preaching to the youth, preaching to your family, friends, and this can be a very valuable resource for all of you to consult, and you can send it to anyone, I mean to all your atheistic friends, relatives, and all those who think, we are just wasting our time. People think that, like that. So please get this card. I mean, we'll make sure that you have it, and please avail of this great opportunity to hear from the app and to watch the documentary and share it. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. We had the wonderful fortune of hearing from Maharaj. He's starting from a soft heart, a strong faith, and finally reaching with the fortunate of Bhakti Lata Beach, being seeded by Maharaj again into our hearts. So let's water it. Let's thank Maharaj by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Prabhuji already announced the video that's coming up. The books are all placed on the left side, so you can take the books that are published by the BBKs. So please look into that. And we will continue the fortune of hearing from Maharaj. So tomorrow is a wonderful day. It's the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura. The program starts at 10:30 a.m. with Kirtan in the temple hall. Followed by that will be the lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj here. So many of you know that he has written this book, Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhav. So who better to hear about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur than Maharaj himself. Please do join in. And for devotees who have joined in late and standing outside, today's lecture is also available on YouTube. Tomorrow also it will be live. Devotees who cannot come here, please do watch it online. Don't miss the association of the program. Followed by Maharaj lecture will be Pushpanjali, Aarti and the Prashadam tomorrow. So the program will go on till about 1:30 p.m. Tomorrow also happens to be the disappearance day of Srila Purushottam Das Thakura and the disappearance day of Srila Gaur Bhavan Swami Maharaj. Next Monday is Vijay Ekadashi. It's fasting. So tomorrow also happens to be fasting till noon. Do not miss it. So again, next Monday is on 24th is fasting for Vijay Ekadashi. Fast breaking time on Tuesday is 6:31 a.m. to 10:34 a.m. It also is the disappearance day of Srila Ishwarapuri Maharaj. We have been informing everyone about the initiation ceremony that's happening on the 31st of March by His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj in Madurai. So devotees who are interested, please reach out to the BBD counter or His Grace Gunana Krishna Prabhu for more details. We also have a few devotees who are celebrating their birthdays. We have His Grace Ranchor Govind Prabhu, the person who's leading the Harlow Center, his birthday is coming on the 22nd. We also have Bhakti Pooja Nagpal Mataji. Her birthday is also on the 22nd of Feb. And Bhakti Sudarshan, his birthday is on the 23rd of Feb. So let's thank all these by once telling Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
we also have wonderful donors for this week. We have Vista Implex Private Limited contributing for food distribution. His Grace Sudam Govind Prabhu also for food distribution, and Gadi Rakumar Reddy for food distribution as well. Then we have Dr. Prasanna, who has contributed for 1 square feet for helping construction of the building, and her Grace Geeteshwari Mataji also for 1 square feet, and Bhakta Pradeep Bhandari Prabhu and family for the Prashadam today. So let's thank all of them once by Hare Krishna mantra. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Lastly, we have our congregational member, His Grace Adidev Prabhu, who is met with an accident last evening, a car accident near Srirangam, so he's currently admitted in the Tirchi hospital. He's doing well, just a few broken bones. He sent a message saying that I have experienced death very close and I could remember the Lord. Please requesting all devotees to pray for him by once again chanting the Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. So we'll continue to have Nagar Kirtan and a Kirtan Mela today from 2:30 p.m. So finish your lunch but don't go anywhere. We'll have Kirtan Mela from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. followed by Hindi class on Bhagavad Gita. So the day is still young. So all of you are requested to be here.
Hare Krishna. We have some wonderful books of Maharaj. You can take some of the literature written by Maharaj today. We have also sets, beginning with a masterpiece work called Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, which is about the life, the teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how he established Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. And also interesting is, not interesting, it's also how Srila Prabhupada followed exactly word by word, how he followed his spiritual master and established ISKCON all over the world. So that's in this wonderful book. Some of them have already booked some sets, so please I request you to take a copy of Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava today if possible. And other books also, such as Maharaj's Memories of Srila Prabhupada, A Beginner's Guide to Krishna Consciousness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This book is a small book on the summary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, life and teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Usually in South India, many of them don't know about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's hard to give them a full Chaitanya Charitamrita set. So this is a small and nice book to gift them on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, on his life and teachings. Message to the youth of India, how to preach to the youth, how to share the message to the youth, and also a message to the youth itself. About traditional life, Varnashram life, Vedic life, Sampradaya, how all the Sampradayas lived, how our grandparents and great-grandparents lived, the role